making your parents proud by being rude and disruptive and discourteous. We are happy to answer a question. Respect the people around you so that they can hear. You don't play by the same rules. Let me tell you something. I bet you engage and go on online dating because you're impressing no one here to get a date in person.
It's because people hijack it with nonsense looking to go for some sort of soundbite. You have people spreading nonsense, spreading hate to try to take over that room. And that's the real issue with the room.
No, it's because you're not making your parents proud by being rude and disruptive and discourteous. We are happy to answer a question.
It is amazing how many times irony has managed to die during the Trump era. This is Don Jr. and his girlfriend Kimberly Guilfoyle at UCLA for a promotional event for Don Jr.'s new book entitled Triggered. And they clearly lose their patience and start lashing out after being disrupted by hecklers in the crowd. If only there was a word for that type of response to people specifically looking to get a rise out of you. In order to defend himself amid the protesting, which he assumed came from liberals, Don Jr. says the sentence, "Name a time when conservatives have disrupted even the furthest leftists on a college campus. It doesn't happen that way. We're willing to listen." At which point he was heckled off the stage by, wait for it, a group of far-right conservatives. The conservative attendees were angry after learning that the Q&A had been canceled because Don Jr. was afraid that protesters would use it as an opportunity to get sound bites and embarrass them. So instead, the Q&A was canceled, the crowd erupted, and Kimberly Guilfoyle tried to insult everyone by claiming that they had to do online dating, and then were eventually forced off the stage by their own fans. Yup, good thing no one had the opportunity to embarrass them with a soundbite. Seriously, only in the Trump era could the president's least self-aware son put out a book, the central thesis of which is that liberals are so intolerant that conservatives' voices are being silenced, and then contradict that very thesis at an event for that book. And by the way, Don Jr.'s argument that conservatives don't disrupt those on the left from speaking on college campuses is completely baseless. In just 2019, there have been efforts on the right to revoke invitations from speakers at UMass Amherst, UNC Asheville, Creighton University, Columbia, St. Joseph's, Ball State, Xavier, Loyola, NYU, and Sacred Heart. And that's just this year. Probably in the time that Don Jr. had his author ghostwrite this book for him. I mean, wrote the book himself. And this isn't the first time that Guilfoyle's had to step in and defend her boyfriend, the same guy who spends his days, quote, triggering the left from his computer, but can't manage to stick around long enough to take any criticism in real life. Just days ago, Don Jr. and Guilfoyle appeared on The View, where she swooped in and saved him when questioning turned to the fact that he was breaking the law by outing the whistleblower from his Twitter page.
Kimberly, you're a lawyer.
Yes.
And we've known each other. You were a former prosecutor.
Yeah.
I mean, did you advise your boyfriend that it is a federal crime to out a whistleblower?
I didn't advise him that it was a federal crime, but I did come out of the bathroom and say I left you alone for 10 minutes. What happened when Mamacita's gone? Because by the
It's not a federal crime. It's only a federal crime for the IG to do it. That's in the statute. So that's you can't.
No, that's
but
not
that's the
true.
point. You can't
That's
run
a lie.
with it. It is not.
Let me show you the other side.
That's not true. Under U.S. Code
Okay, stop. Everybody stop. It's hard to hear.
Under U.S.
So
Code
finish
Section
that.
1505, it is a crime.
It's not accurate. Just ask Ray Paul. He went
My
to
law
great
degree says
detail
it
on
is,
the
but
other.
nevertheless.
But he's not the individual that first told me.
But my question is, you did speak to him about that.
I talked to him, no, not prior to. After I said, oh, what happened? He said, well, they're saying that I released this and I outed. But if you look at the facts, and the facts are that the name was out there, I'm not saying, okay, I understand what you're saying, that perhaps, okay, it wasn't the most prudent decision to retweet an article.
To be clear, what Sonny was referring to was Section 1505, which forbids anyone from corruptly or by threats of force or by any threatening communication, influencing, obstructing, or impeding any pending proceeding before a department or agency of the United States or Congress. Does that maybe sound like something that might be relevant here as conservatives, led by Don Jr. and his dad, attempt to reveal the federally protected whistleblower's identity and put his life in danger in the midst of an ongoing investigation? So, just to summarize exactly what happened here, because it's too good not to, during a promo for his book about how the left is so triggered that it can't tolerate dissent and instead wants to silence conservative voices, Don Jr. and his girlfriend got triggered and lashed out at a crowd of conservatives after silencing their own audience by canceling the Q&A and then silenced themselves by storming off stage. Seems like it's going well.